All right, so let me show you what I mean. So the structure of these tends to be kind of predictable, and let me isolate the passage so I can work. So here's the passage. All right, so it says Tillie Olson's fiction and essays have widely, see that right there? This is basically an old idea. So it's starting with this old idea, and it basically says that she's good. T-O is good, right? So they're starting with this kind of old idea, and I can predict that this is going to be wrong, or there's going to be something wrong, because why write this? You know what I mean? Like, if you're just going to agree with the widely acknowledged idea, what are you doing, right? So the next sentence says, her work has been particularly valued by contemporary feminists. So again, she's good. You know, she's awesome. All right. Yet, and then here, this right here gives structure to the passage. Yet few of Olson's readers realize the extent to which her vision and choice of subject are rooted in an earlier literary heritage. So basically, many people don't realize something, which, you know, according to the author, is a contrast, a negative thing, and that basically she was inspired by the past, inspired by earlier. So inference, many of these, you know, modern readers, they think maybe she's innovative, or they think that she does all of this on her own, not realizing that in fact she's influenced by the past. All right. Mostly don't care about that. Don't care about that. I do not mean that one can adequately explain the eloquence of her work in terms of its political origins. So they're basically saying, okay, the past is not enough. This is almost like a qualification. You know, he's kind of moderating his position a little bit. He's like, hey, they don't realize that she's focused on the past or she copied from the past. But I'm not saying that the past is the only thing you have to look at, right? That's what he's saying here. So it's a little bit of a qualification. Or that left-wing politics were the single most important influence. So again, qualifications. My point is that its central consciousness, its profound understanding of class and gender, as shaping owes much to that. So basically, her main thrust, her main point comes from the past. So before he gets into this kind of strong opinion, he qualifies it. And he qualifies it right here. So this is a very common GRE structure. That's what I mean by repetitive structure. That's exactly what I mean. I see this a million times. In fact, I've never seen this passage before in my life, but I have. I have seen it before. Not in terms of content, but in terms of structure, right? And then finally, the author concludes that a heritage in general that has not been sufficiently valued. So basically, we are ignoring the past, this heritage, ignoring the heritage, and according to the author, that's bad. So the main idea is that, hey, she looked to the past. Her main ideas come from the past, right? A very predictable structure because GRE follows very predictable structures. And now if I go look at the questions. So the first one says the primary purpose of the passage is to, well, I already know this. The primary purpose of the passage is to say that, hey, she was kind of influenced by the past. Not entirely so. The modern interpretation is not exactly correct. You know, we have to look at the past, and that the past is a little bit underappreciated. So if you start at the bottom, it says, suggest that Olson's work has been placed in a literary heritage to which it does not belong. Well, that's wrong. Urge literary critics to investigate. No, they're not trying to convince. Point out a literary heritage to which maybe. Acknowledge Olson's importance as the leading spokesperson for a radical. No. Argue that Olson's understanding of class and gender is the greatest gift. No. So it just has to be C by process of elimination. She's influenced by the past, right? 25. According to the author, which of the following is true of the heritage mentioned in the passage? So the heritage, if you come to the passage, what does it tell me? It tells me that she was influenced by it. It was radical, socialist, anarchist, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. It also says it hasn't been appreciated. So it has to be one of those. It reflects primarily the development. No. It explains the eloquence. No, it doesn't explain the eloquence. Remember, they said that. It includes political traditions that span 3 decades. That looks pretty good because you have the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. It has been the most important. No. It emphasizes gender. No. So it just has to be C. Again, process of elimination. All right, come up to 26. In the sentence, I do not blank. So this sentence here with the I do not, this is the beginning of her qualification, or the author's qualification, meaning he's moderating his position a little bit. He's kind of minimizing it a little bit. So what does that mean? That means he has this opinion, you should look at the past to find her influence, but that doesn't mean she's only influenced by the past. So no, it doesn't broaden anything, contradict. It certainly doesn't contradict the passage central thesis. Qualifies looks pretty good. I'll keep that one. Presents conflicting? No. And then denies possible interpretations of an earlier assertion. Now remember, earlier assertion is his very strong statement. If you deny the possible interpretations of an earlier assertion, you might be qualifying. So he qualifies his opinion. He doesn't qualify a commonly accepted point of view. The commonly accepted point of view is up here. He doesn't qualify that. He qualifies his own strong opinion that she was influenced by the past. So you have to eliminate C. Okay, it looks like E. According to the author, Olson's work has been, the work is influential. It says here, rightly acknowledged. It was influenced by the past. It has to be one of these. Deservedly admired. Well, that kind of looks like rightly acknowledged to me. Most clearly influenced? No. A needed impetus? No. Thought to represent the beginning? No, because she was looking at the past, right? Rightly acknowledged. Be careful here. Whenever they use the same vocab, that's always a red flag, right? See where it says rightly acknowledged for its contribution to political thought? Not to political thought, to American literature. So cross that out. Correct answer is E. Now, I was able to go through these questions pretty quickly, again, because the structure is so familiar. It's like they start with an opinion, the author contradicts that opinion, maybe qualifies it a little bit, provides a little bit of supporting evidence, and then just moves on. So yeah, that's what I mean by that.